having a great day.
And Bal.
What's up, guys? Follow Mr. Whisper on every channel on the internet.
Yes, what's going on everyone? Welcome back. I hope you're doing well and thank you ever so much for watching the first half of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Now let's have a quick chat about the images and the video itself. So, location wise, I started out in Covent Garden. I then popped down to the embankment to meet Bal and Erin. We then walked towards Bank, spent some time there and then headed into Shoreditch, Brick Lane to then loop back round into Bank and finally end up on the Millennium Bridge where we nearly got blown off because it was so windy, which is where we basically threw the towel in. So enough's enough. We're done. We're wet. We're cold. Time to go home. Before getting into the images, a couple of tips for shooting on rainy days. So the first one is you can get these sort of plastic bags which can go over the camera. I personally don't use them because instead I just use an umbrella. Obviously, yeah, you lose a hand, but I found it to be a much more pleasant shooting experience in the rain. If you get a nice good umbrella, especially a windproof one, you can really just relax because when you're getting soaking wet, even if your camera is dry because you've got a bag over it, you're still not dry, so it can get a bit frustrating. But yeah, just get an umbrella, one-handed, walk around, take pictures, no problem at all. Camera itself, it was an X-T4 16-55 f2.8 zoom. I had it in aperture priority, sort of bouncing between f2.8 and f5.6, around about there. Shutter speed ISO was on automatic because I just didn't have time to mess around with those. And yeah, let's get into the images. As always, I'll mention one or two of the images that I like, and then obviously the images that I don't like I'll mention at the end, and everything that I don't mention that you've seen kind of sits somewhere in the middle. It's not amazing, it's not rubbish, somewhere in between. So the first image that I like is of the lady with the umbrella in front of the underground sign, as well as the city. The reason I like the image is because it's very stereotypically London. You have the big underground logo that's clearly visible underneath her umbrella, which straight away tells you where you are. On the right, you also have the older building, which I believe is the Royal Exchange, so it's a very old traditional building, shows a bit of history, and then right next to it, you have the modern, I guess, skyscrapers. It's a cheese grate and another building I can't remember the name of. So that contrasts the older building. Obviously, she's got the umbrella, and that definitely just shouts London because it's always raining. It's a fairly moody shot, fairly, I would say, a bit underexposed and also a bit muted with colour and general tonality. That's how I wanted to edit the image. I didn't want it to be a bright, poppy type of photo. Definitely on the more moody side. And then that's why with the lady herself, you know, you can quite easily have just exposed her face, but I kept her face in shadow, so you really need to look closer to see what she looks like. So yeah, overall very happy with that image. It wouldn't make a portfolio, it probably wouldn't even make my website, but overall, I'm fairly pleased. The second image that I like from the day is of the guy with the blue umbrella crossing the street. I like it for a few reasons. First of all, there's a sense of scale. There's a sense of him being on his own because the city is still very quiet. There's still not many people at all, even on a weekday. So you do get that kind of like loneliness and quietness that there is still very much of in a city. Obviously, typical British weather, raining, moody, gloomy, very cool tones in the image. And although it's not as clean as I like most of my images, I just think it works overall. I think it's balanced. There's definitely a sense of it's easy to focus on the guy in the middle of the street crossing. I think maybe I've over muted it. However, looking back at the video footage, it was still that sort of muted and that moody in real life. So maybe I haven't. I don't know. I'm still undecided about that. Also want to extend this to a second photo of the same person. And he came a bit closer to me and then I took a portrait photo there. A lot of people like that on Instagram. Because they said there was a bit of depth between the guy, the bus, and the background, and I totally see it. However, I still think I prefer the landscape version. Main reason for it is because, again, maybe it's just because I'm from London, I'm just not used to seeing it this quiet, and even to this day. And then because it was rainy and moody, kind of made the quietness all more eerie, perhaps. So yeah, it definitely won't make a portfolio, but it's something that I might post on Instagram later on. We will see. Pictures that I don't like. So the first one is lady with the umbrella in this kind of behind bank side street. To be honest with you, it's a very bland image, very much a point and shoot. I also think it's a bit unbalanced and the editing is not all of that. So let's start from the beginning. So there's a lot going on the left-hand side of the image. You have the lady with the umbrella, plus you have, I guess, parts of a different building. On the right side of the image is just a pattern of a different building that kind of sort of goes brighter and brighter as you look through the image to the right. I think there's definitely an imbalance because the right side of the image is very clean, very simple, whereas the left, there's a lot going on. That's the first thing I don't like. The second thing, the editing I think is a bit crap. The left side is definitely a bit overexposed. Yes, there was that natural light fall off, but I think I've over-exaggerated it too much in the editing process. And the biggest issue, though, for me is it's a bit boring. There's nothing there of any interest. Yeah, it's a person with an umbrella against a, old style background, but you can get that image 1,000 times over. So there's definitely nothing there that is too interesting for me. It's a bit bland and it's a bit boring, and that's probably the main reason that I don't like that particular image. And finally, the second image, which I don't like, is of the taxi in the city. This was just before Bank, I think near Moorgate, that sort of area. I saw the taxi there on its own, and I kind of wanted to get a photo of it on its own. However, there's not much of interest there. If I was a bit more smart, I probably could have waited for the bike. In the video, so there's a cyclist coming through. I could have kind of framed him to give another layer, another point of interest in the frame. But for some reason I didn't. I don't remember why. And the editing's fine. I'm happy with the editing. I'm happy with the moody feel of the image. I just think the subject's not that interesting. I think it's very much a point-and-shoot type throwaway image. The only good thing about it is that if you look on the right, there's a very small taxi there, so you kind of, I don't know, works maybe. I don't know. But overall, I'm not happy with. I did try and use the lamppost on the right to kind of frame it and to try and balance the image out. I think it's balanced it out a little bit, but still, it's not much of interest or interesting subjects there, in my opinion. And that's the main reason I don't like it. Now, one important point, shall we say, just because I don't like this image doesn't mean I will never actively try to not take those images again. I know full well that if I see another boring image, I will definitely take a photo of it. And the reason for that is because I enjoy the process of taking photos more so than probably the end result. I'm not as fussed about the end result. I just like the process of doing it. So if you are out and about and you see pictures which you look at and you're like, you know what, I know it's going to be bland. Unless you're shooting with a film camera, just take a picture, because if you enjoy the process, but also more importantly, it gives you another opportunity to analyze an image that you've taken. Maybe it's from a compositional aspect, maybe it's from an editing aspect, and you can learn something from it. So there's always a positive in it, I personally think, anyway. So the images that I've not talked about, they are average, so they sit somewhere in the middle. Obviously, with photography, everyone has their own favorite. Everyone has a slightly different opinion, which is the beauty of this thing, that we don't all agree on the same thing. I think that's good. So let me know in the comments which one you liked and which one you didn't like, because always it seems the ones I like is the ones that others don't like, and vice versa, which is, as I've said, interesting. So that's all from me. I look forward to reading your comments and replying to them. Thank you as ever for watching this video. If you do have suggestions on the format, I've seen one suggestion from the previous video about having an intro. There will be an intro in the future ones. Probably not next one because I filmed them at the same time-ish, but ones after. It's certainly a work in progress. Right, definitely enough talking. Thank you, like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.